gas tax holidays, trannies in the state legislature, all this on this interview we have today with Kate Dalley, great radio host down in St. George, Utah, and also guest host on another national program. Just go check her out at katedalleyradio.com. I'm Ben McClintock from defendingutah.org. Make sure that you don't miss another one of these programs by clicking on the subscribe button, click on that bell to get notified. Also, you want to support this channel, support our efforts, and become a part of the solution by joining with us in our action program. Go to defendingutah.org and click on the Join tab and become a member today. Also encourage you, we talked about it in this interview with Kate Dalley, is our Liberty Boot Camp here. We have these cards right here that we're passing out, and you can check out that QR code. We've got a link down in the description that you can take our free Liberty Boot Camp, and it's on your own schedule. You can take it anytime on your schedule, and it's 5 classes that we go through the Constitution, what we're trying to build, and the threats to it, what we can do about it. So go to defendingutah.org, click on that Learn tab to take part of that free Liberty Boot Camp. So without further ado, here's my interview with Kate Dalley.
Welcome to the show. I have Ben McClintock from defendingutah.org. I love these guys, and they're just doing a heck of a job. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Hey, Kate. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Oh, gosh, that was funny. Yeah, I think he nailed every stereotype except for are you a woman? I'm not a biologist. I don't know. I can't decide for myself. Anyway, so I had to play it. Anyways, so Ben, what is up in your neck of the woods? I know that you're doing Liberty Boot Camps. I just wanted to talk to you about some of the things you're doing. And wait. No, before we go there, I have a little game to play with you. Which newspaper is it? I'm going to read off 2 headlines, and I want you to tell me which newspaper it is in the state of Utah. Okay. Okay. First major headline from the editorial board: why the governor's veto on Utah's transgender athletic bill should stand. And here's the other one. Brown Jackson is one of the most popular modern Supreme Court nominees. Which newspaper is it? I wonder if you can name.
You would think that would be the Tribune. But because that's like the natural assumption, I'm going to guess Deseret News.
Yeah, I know. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Anyway, I marvel every day when I get on there, thanks to their editor.
They're insane.
I know. They are insane. They're completely insane. All right. So tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Okay. First thing, remind everybody, Liberty Boot Camp, go to defendingutah.org and click on the Learn tab and go to Liberty Boot Camp, completely free, 6-course Liberty Boot Camp covering the Constitution, the threats to it, and the solutions. What are we supposed to be doing about this? And so it's completely free. Go on there and check that out. Everybody wanting to be involved right now, especially now that the session's over. Now's the time that we can take some time to be able to start to build our understanding, so that way we can start to identify things without being told what's going on. We can just spot it on our own. So encourage
until we
folks
have
to
a
do
special
that.
session. Until we have a special session, which I'm sure is right around the corner, because they love.
Yeah, short bus special. Not to be offensive.
Yeah, it's bizarre that they choose to reconvene in secret every single time they don't get what they want. So anyway,
and a lot of times what we're seeing now is along these same lines is actually tomorrow. There's going to be a special sessions to override Governor Caillou veto of the transgender bill, the allowing tranny boys to compete with your daughters. It seems very much, just common sense. It's just one crazy that you would think. And so, but we have to remember though that this is one of those things that's going on right now, is this false paradigm, because we have to remember who was the one that actually sponsored the amendment to make it this strong. It was Dan McKay. And Dan McKay, if you don't remember, he was the senator that booted a guy out of committee because he wore a T-shirt that said "We the People." So this guy's not friendly to liberty, even though this is the kind of stuff that they like to, make themselves popular about. it's a show. And in fact, we know it's a show because the Senate president actually came out and said, we wanted to do this to force it to the courts, so that way the courts would be the ones that forced us to allow boys to compete in girls' sports. And so when they override the veto tomorrow, which I think they probably will, because they want it to go to the courts for this very reason. And so we need to make sure that we're not, giving people kudos that don't deserve it, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so we have to look at this as this is a typical political theater, and to make sure that the ones that vote no on overriding the veto, those guys are the blatant people that hate your daughters and want boys to be competing with them.
Right.
But the ones that vote yes to override it, not necessarily meaning that they're in favor of common sense. It just means they're trying to push it to the courts so the courts can force us to make our daughters. And so we need to make sure that we remember this, that our rights to protect our daughters don't reside in the governor. Our right to protect our daughters doesn't reside in the legislature and their veto. And our rights to protect our daughters don't reside in the courts. Okay. If this happens, right, they override the veto, becomes the law, and then it goes to the courts, and the courts overrule. We need to make sure right now we make this decision, because it's easier to make this decision now than it would be in the heat of the moment. We have to realize, am I going to just give up my role as a parent to protect my daughter simply because the court said so? Or am I going to start to, develop relationships where I'm going to pull my daughter out of that scenario, maybe set up a private organization where it's biological women only? I know that's a really hard thing to figure out for some people. It's pretty interesting, because we have at the same time, we have the governor, the Utah legislature, we have a U.S. Supreme Court justice, and we have public library systems having conferences all at the same time, discussing how to push this agenda on the public, and how to protect that, and how to move that forward. And even the Utah School Union is working on it at the same time. These aren't isolated instances. This is a coordinated, some dare say a conspiracy, to be able to attack the family, to attack our daughters, and to push this gay supremacy agenda on the people, because we think that, the courts decided, there's nothing we can do about it. We have to decide now, if this happens, we're going to pull our daughters out and keep them safe. We're not going to just subject our daughters to this simply because the courts said so.
Amen. Amen. But yes, there is so much political theater always, because this is how we lose our liberty. See, if they don't do this, then of course, they're showing their hand too much, right? And so I get what you're saying about pushing it into the courts, and so that they make this devastating decision. And you're right. You just pull your kids out of there. I know people rely on scholarships or think they need to, or there's other ways to do things too. And what if girls just stopped competing?
Yeah.
Then what?
Are we going to say that I'm going to put my daughter at risk simply because of a scholarship? That just seems so shallow to me.
I know, right? But I know there's people thinking that. Well, it's like, so focus somewhere else. Focus on something else. You know, I hope people actually do take their kids out just because of this. And I think it's just so pathetic to raise a boy who wants to best the girls for a medal. I mean, you must really love that medal, and there's something really wrong with somebody that wants to do that. And you know what? Here's something that's very unpopular. If you think you're trans, maybe you have some issues going on that maybe you shouldn't be playing sports. Maybe you need to attend to the issues going on. Not everybody gets to do everything. Not everybody gets to do everything. So, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why this huge push, except for the fact that the agenda's at hand, but it just is crazy.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
The other thing that's on everybody's mind, of course, is the gas prices going out of control. Yes. And what's funny is history repeats itself. It's so important that we have institutional knowledge, and that's what one of the things that we like to offer at Defending Utah is helping people realize that this isn't the first time this has happened before. We go back to 2008, and we can compare the news articles about high gas prices, and they're exactly the same. We have this idea of, we've got to have a tax holiday. Well, you know who introduced the tax holiday back in 2008? John McCain and Hillary Clinton. And so This
Oh,
this should tell you that this isn't, small government, we're going to help you out. This is a part
right.
of the bigger agenda. And you go back to 2008. What were they saying back then? There were several articles that said high gas prices is vital to protect the environment because people shop less and people
Mhm.
are moving more and more into the cities. They noticed that during the fake pandemic that everybody was moving out of the urban centers. And so now that it's on its way out, we have to increase the gas prices, push everybody back into the urban centers, take away their
Mhm.
property rights because they're living in this high density housing where they don't have a garden. They're
Right.
sharing all this land with other people, and they can only have one or two kids because there's not enough room. To control the population, to control people's property rights, we have to
Mhm.
shove everybody back in. And so they talked about the importance of keeping taxes high to be able
Mhm.
to so-called protect the environment and to move people back into the cities. And so this is part of the Great Reset agenda that we're hearing about now is the term that's being
Right.
used, but it's all the same. Agenda 21, global control that we're in
Right.
now. Agenda 30. They have to get this in place. They've got less than 10 years, and so that's something they're
We're
working
gonna,
on really hard.
we're gonna come right back. The Dalley Show. Don't go anywhere.